Week 35, day 4. I'm going to read this. Now, I've read a lot of the stories in this curriculum, and I know sometimes that it's not an insult to your intelligence for me to read it, but it would be an insult for me not to read some of them because I might miss something. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that you get the most of each one of them. Conscientious. The year was 1845, and the battle on Bosworth Field would determine the control of England. The armies of Henry, the Earl of Richmond, were approaching. King Richard III summoned his troops and called for his best horse. As the horse was being prepared for King Richard, the blacksmith discovered he did not have enough iron to complete the task. He was able to secure 3 of the horse's shoes, but he lacked the materials needed to make nails for the 4th. Having no alternative, he fixed the 4th shoe as was possible without nails. Now, if you live in the country, or if you're in ag, or if you've ever dealt with horses, you understand where we are right now. The king led his troops into battle. The shoes held as Richard continuously rallied and directed his men. Suddenly, out of the corner of his eye, the king noticed a weak spot developing in the battle line. As he wheeled abruptly to address it, the 4th shoe broke loose. The horse stumbled. King Richard fell. His startled horse bolted, and both Richard and England were soon in the grips of Henry's troops. Hence George Herbert's famous line. What is this? For want of a nail, a shoe was lost. Conscientious. For want of a nail, they lost the shoe. For want of a shoe, a horse was lost. For want of a horse, a battle was lost. For want of a battle, a kingdom was lost. And all for the want of a nail. A little thing? What's the point of the story? They didn't have a game plan for a 2-point play. They had blisters, and they couldn't play as well as they could because they didn't worry about their socks. You see, if you take care of the little things, they didn't have enough nails to fit the shoes. So they lost the shoe, they lost the horse, they lost the king, lost the battle, lost the kingdom. It's the same thing with everything else. You got to take care of the little things. If you take care of the little things, the big things will take care of themselves. If I'm going to lose weight, then I got to take care of the little things. When I'm doing that paper in English, I got to take my time and do the little things. We've always had a garden. I was raised with gardens. And I used to tell my 2 kids all the time, expect to do things right, but always inspect to see if it was done right. They didn't like that. Neither one of my kids today have gardens, and I think that's probably because the inspections were very rigid. I expected there not to be a weed in that garden. I expected them to pick the tomatoes when they were ripe. I expected them to do the right things. And I inspected it. You see, one of the superintendents I worked for used to tell us all the time, that which is not monitored becomes optional. If you don't inspect it, then don't expect something good to happen. When you put that game plan together, you expect great things to happen. Well, you better inspect it. And it better be inspected by everyone. I know I used to go and listen to one of the best coaches that maybe ever coached. And he had a phrase about the offense and the defense, and he had a budget. And each of the coordinators, the defensive coordinator, had a budget of blitzes. In other words, on 3rd and long, he only had 2 blitzes. The offensive coordinator, on the goal line, he only had 1 pass. What was he trying to do? He tried to make them conscientious. They wanted to make sure, if they only had 1 or 2 blitzes, they had to make sure they would work. If they only had 1 pass play on the goal line, then they would go through every pass they had to make sure it was the exact formation, the exact motion, everything had to be exactly right. What the head coach did was make the coordinators conscientious. That's what you want to be. You want to be a role model for being conscientious. Pick up every stick. Get every weed out of the garden. Make your paper exactly right. Do things the right way. Expect and then inspect. Make it a great day.